Hey y'all, this is Jacob, aka skaxdad, and in this episode of Bass to Bass, I talk with Ryan from Goalkeeper, a rhythm guitarist, gone bass player. We get to find out how he got involved in music, about his favorite bands, the newest MGK pop punk album, and so much more. Please give it a listen. I hope you enjoy. Leave comments, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Thank you for taking time to be a part of this show, Bass to Bass. It's like I just really want to use this to kind of educate people and inspire people to hopefully just pick up an instrument,
Hmm.
preferably bass, but whatever is
Yeah.
fine. So let's get
Awesome.
started.
Yeah. Hmm.
So when did you know that music was going to be a part of your life?
I knew like really early on because my dad was actually the morning guy on a radio station. They played like it was an oldie station, so they played like 50s, 60s, and 70s back then. Now the station he works for is a classic hit station, and they play Green Day, and I'm like, Dad, no, you can't.
Eh.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't do that to my heart here. But um, yeah, but I used to go through his CDs and stuff, and like, cause he had CDs, cause he was also a party DJ too. So I got to dive into all that, and then my grandfather was huge into music, like all the crooners and the big bands and jazz and all that. Um, so I didn't really have a choice. It was it was kind of put on me, but I don't regret it at all. So.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So where was that like did your dad's music like inspire you to play bass or listening to like any of his albums, or when did bass start getting involved?
So for me, I actually started off with guitar. So Blink 182 and like Green Day and like that like kind of era of pop punk um, made me want to like actually learn how to play the guitar because I thought it'd be like kind of cool just to strum the chords and sing along with the song. And from there, I learned a lot about power chords and rhythm and stuff like that. And in all my high school bands and in college and everything, I played guitar, but it wasn't. And even the band I was in before Goalkeeper, I played rhythm guitar. But then with Goalkeeper, I ended up playing bass, and I always had a fascination with bass because my grandfather played bass. He played like the stand up. I'm actually gonna get it. It's at my parents' house, but so he plays that, um, and like I've always been a rhythm guitarist. I never really wanted to learn how to go crazy with like the melodies and the.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I picked up bass, I was like, oh, this is what I was supposed to be playing this whole time. Like I don't know what I was thinking. And Yeah, so that's kind of how I got into bass, and you know, I love learning about it. I'm like so fast. I'm kind of early on my stage, although I have friends, like a few friends that are kind of one in particular who actually went to school for bass, and like he's kind of been like a role model for me. He's fantastic. So.
That's awesome. So
Mhm.
coming in from bass, like kind of like as did guitar, how did you like try to learn other people's songs, or were you already just like you already know like what you want to do, I guess?
Sort of like I've always, like I said, I'm very simple when it comes to music. Like I like playing like the fast rhythms and um and like pretty simple stuff. I mean, I've learned a considerable amount of like Blink 182 and Green Day and stuff like that, like just to kind of like get familiar with actually playing it. But for Goalkeeper, I pretty much like took what I knew from rhythm guitar and just applied it to one finger, and I'm running it up with a pick. You know what I mean? So, but like the more I learn about bass and the more I like listen to other songs now, and I'm listening for the bass, I'm like very interested to kind of go a little bit deeper in certain areas. So I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, yeah. Man, like Goalkeeper is sounds so great. Definitely hear the influence from the early pop punk. So when you first started just playing guitar, was there like a riff that you heard, like a song that you heard that really just like you wanted to learn?
Um, I think the first song that kind of hit me like that was actually "All the Small Things" by Blink-182, and the reason was actually I helped my dad at a DJ gig, at a campground. It was like the big, he did a few every summer. It'd be like a dance party at the campground, and he used to play that song because that was like the biggest song at the time, one of them. And I just thought it was so cool how like everybody would get up and dance, and it was like whether you were young, whether you were old or whatever, people were just like, "Work sucks." I know, you know what I mean. And so that was that song. It was also because of that I was like, "Oh wow, this is something that I want to check out more of." And I first started I learned like Smoke on the Water, like the dan, 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 that's that easy thing. But then like as I kind of got into it, I started playing with like Basket Case by Green Day, and then worked my way up Green Day and Blink-182, and that was kind of how I got my start with that, just like learning rhythm guitar through that way. I also learned some classic rock stuff, but like I was more interested in the power chords, just like ripping like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, so fun. So like when you started writing your own music or wanting to join bands, was your goal always to be kind of like punk or pop punk, or did you want to venture into other like genres?
I think my goal's always been pop punk. I love the genre. I've definitely started branching out the older I get. I'd start branching out a little bit. Like, you know, some people don't like this, but I do like country music. I've been learning a little bit of that stuff lately. Um, and, I can really listen to any kind of music for the most part. I mean, I had such a wide variety of influence like so early on that I've got pretty much a taste for anything. So, but like I've been dabbling on, but I always come back to pop punk. Like there's something about it. It's just like that's kind of where my heart is.
Yeah. Do you think there's gonna be like a pop punk band that kind of had the impact that like Blink 182 had when they were at their peak?
I hope, man. It's just going to depend on culture and the times and what a band can do to stick out in today's world. You know what I mean? So hopefully that'd be cool.
Yeah. In your opinion, like what are some things that bands can do to stick out, get attention?
Well, pre-COVID times and hopefully post-COVID times, when shows come back around, go to local shows and network. Like, talk to people, watch people's sets, talk to them. That's the fastest way. Pardon me.
Mhm.
To that's the fastest way to really move forward. But in terms of like what we're kind of going through right now, focusing on like what you can kind of do like in terms of like music content wise, like if you can try to put out a new single, like just try to get the best high quality you can, do that, make a music video for it, stuff like that, just keep the content kind of going, and get it in front of as many people as possible, be in those groups. I know Mark is one of those guys who's always in the group, like commenting on like different posts and stuff. So that goes a long way too. So those are probably the biggest things that I would say right now.
Nice. So I've seen the music videos that y'all been putting out. It's- they're great. Like, is that a DIY idea, or do you guys go to like a music video
Hmm.
like producer or anything?
Yeah. So we've done 10 music videos, and the first like three of them, no, two, the first two we did 100% DIY. The next, I think, let's see, I think we did three or four with them, and then three or four with the other guys. So we've been working with guys who have like cameras and stuff, but like we're really involved with like the production and stuff like that, like what the concept is. More recently, like all three of our music videos were made by Casey Allen and Tim from Syndicate Row, and those guys are they know what they're doing. Casey basically put the whole thing and organized it together. We just had to give him concepts and ideas and stuff, and was able to roll. So, but like really, you can do a music video on a budget. Like iPhones are not bad, especially like if you got to get something out there on a budget. But just be considerate about like if you're filming on a phone, it's going to look like it was filmed on a phone. So make sure the idea is cool. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. Um, One thing that strikes me like for your music or for Goalkeeper's music is just how like catchy and melodic everything is. Um, what's your mindset when y'all go to write just new songs?
Well, Cody and I will usually try to come up with like some lyrics or a melody or like a vibe, and we try to build something from there. Um, and in terms of like catchiness, like really what I'm looking for is something that kind of gets stuck in my head that flows right, because like you can have like a cool lyric, but if the melody's not right, the lyric won't be that as cool. You know what I mean? So as long as like it's got to be a perfect balance, but you just work through it, and then you know you put it on the track.
When you're writing music, are you typically like writing on guitar?
Yeah, that's how I do all of it at this point. I either like I'll do it one of two ways. I'll either jam on the acoustic, or I'll turn my electric all the way up and just start like wailing on it. Like as soon as something comes up like in my head, I'm like, okay, that's it.
Nice. When y'all are recording, do you record guitars too, or just bass?
No, Mark does all the guitar. I do the bass and vocals, obviously, and then Cody does the drums. So I do want to do more rhythm guitar though, but I don't think Mark's gonna let me.
So when you're writing melodies, vocal melodies, are you thinking about like how complex you're gonna make the bass parts, or like, or does that come into mind at all when you're writing?
It absolutely does. And like our new song Happy, like that song is really choppy and like a lot different than what we normally do. So like um I've been had like one of the things is like I've been home practicing like how to like hit that and sing it at the same time. And I mean, you get there, you just have to practice, you know what I mean? But like yeah, sometimes I don't realize it, and then I'd like pay for it because I have to practice it like 1,000 times. But it's worth it.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's
Hmm.
just cool hearing like everyone's practice or the way they practice.
Hmm.
Um, did you ever come through Texas when were touring?
No, I want to so bad though. I went to Texas a few years ago. Went to Austin. I drove from New Jersey all the way to Austin, Texas, and back, and it was so much fun. Like, and Texas in general, I really dug. Like, I thought that was a cool spot.
What brought you to Texas?
It was my friend's bachelor party.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
I think the way I came across y'all was there's a Texas band called Nominee,
Hmm.
and I think you were just like one of their suggested bands
Oh
on
yeah,
Spotify. Yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. That's cool. Have you played shows with them?
No, I don't think so. But hopefully, like post COVID, we can. That'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure. So how many tours has Goalkeeper done? Or
Um, we've done like three like week-long tours, I think, and then or week and a half long tours, and then like a handful of weekenders. Just like 3 dates, like just around the local area. Before, well, like we actually had big plans to tour. We were actually going to be touring in Texas this year for the first time. We had plans for it, I think, in like right around now, or if not, it already had passed. I think it was
yeah,
like coinciding with Fest. Um, but like we're still motivated to try to do that. So like the moment that we can safely play shows for the general public, we're going to try to put together a tour, and Texas is high up there on our list. I've heard the scene out there is really cool.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's strong, especially Austin has like a really cool scene. San Antonio, we're a bunch of metalheads over here. I play ska music, so like there's like four bands, and we're all the same members in every band. Uh,
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it's fun. So what's your mentality like when going on tour or like building a local or regional fan base?
Just getting out there and playing as well as you can. That's all you can really do. You hope for the best because I mean, sometimes you play a show and there's nobody there. Sometimes you play a show and everybody's there, and it's like, and they're never, I mean, we've had fans come out and see us and stuff like, but like, when you're just starting out, and you're really trying to just like prove that you should be like um, paid attention to. You know what I mean? So that's why we try to just slam it every time we go out there. Um, and really like just making sure you're like getting back out to those places and also like mingling and networking and talking to the bands and stuff like that. Like that goes such a long way, because then you never know, like, you could, put together your tour or your show, contacts, then all of a sudden you got a tour involved or something, so.
Yeah. Uh,
Mhm.
so what is like what's the biggest show or what's like your best memory from one of your tour shows or out of town shows?
um well, probably um one of the coolest things that happened is we've had two fans from North Carolina drove all the way to Ohio to see us in Ohio, and like knowing that they did that, that was like really cool, like because it's like that's a long way,
Yeah.
especially to drive, just for a show, so like it like that kind of stuff is the stuff that like I like, you know what I mean? Although like, if you want to talk like biggest shows, like we played Atlantic City Beer Fest, which like was an acoustic thing, but we were on at the same time that the Wonder Years were on, and so like we ended up ending the set kind of short so we could go see the Wonder Years.
Man,
uh, yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah.
and
Uh
then like I would say uh, Four Chord Music Fest was pretty cool too. That was our only other festival thing that we've ever played. So
how do you go about like getting on festivals like that? You just ask or you have to
um,
submit something?
I think for us, we're really fortunate that, we have Mark, who's like very good at networking. So really, I think what it comes down to is who you know and like networking and stuff like that. Um, that's why that's why I said it's so important when you're at shows, try to talk to people because you never know who you're going to run into. Um, that's kind of how Goalkeeper's been able to just keep, rising, I guess, because like or keep it interesting, because um, we're always trying to engage with people and see like what's what.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of rising, you hit 1 million streams, right? On
Yeah,
your
bad times don't last.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
I'm like floored. That was not something I thought we were going to do in 2 years. So
What do you think it is about the album that has like people's attention?
um, I don't know. It's raw. It's really raw, like for us, because like we went down there and we had a lot of those songs for a little while, and like Sunshine specific, so like a lot of the songs meant a lot to us. Not that the new ones don't, like they also mean a lot to us, but like there was just a raw creativity that I think kind of went into those that made them a lot more special. You know what I mean? So, I love that album.
Yeah, I listened to it on repeat so many times.
I
How
appreciate it
yeah, man. How many times do people compare you to Mark Hoppus?
all the time, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just curious. I'm sure you've heard that. You've heard
yeah.
that before.
No, it's like some of the comments we get are like, especially like for our happy video, it's like people are like, "Did they get Mark Hoppus to feature on this?" I'm like, "Nope, I just sound exactly like him. Sorry,
Yeah. I
not much
I
I can do about that."
I describe to my friends like that you sound like a buff Mark Hoppus.
I
You know,
appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, actually, I would like to be like the tough guy, Mark Hoppus, or like the gruff guy. Yeah, that'd be cool. Somebody once described it as Mark Hoppus meets M Shadows, and I thought that was a pretty interesting one. I don't know if I'm like that screamy all the time, but yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's crazy. I had to ask about the Mark Hoppus thing.
Oh yeah, I love it. He's one of my favorites.
Do you watch him like stream on Twitch or anything?
No, I should. I follow him on pretty much everything though. I
Yeah,
want to start listening to his radio show on Apple Music.
yeah, I wasn't even aware that he had that.
Yeah, it's weird. They're doing like artists have like these radio shows where you can like listen to music and then like there's like a pod or like a break. So it's almost like a podcast with music breaks. So yeah, I haven't really watched any of them, but the concept seems pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds cool. What do you
Mm.
think about the new Blink music?
Man, it's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's like the best they've ever done, but like, generally I like it, and I can see where they're going with it too. You know what I mean? But like, I was just talking to a buddy of mine about this. It's just like, it's good, but it's not like Blink. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's a different version of Blink. You know what I mean? Without Tom.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that like now that Tom found aliens, they can get back together and like put their differences aside and release some cool music.
Yeah, I hope so. Um, so I heard or I saw y'all tweeting about MGK's new pop punk album.
Mm-hmm.
With support because that's kind of like I don't know if it's controversial or whatever, but I just want to see what you think about someone like MGK kind of bringing pop punk forward.
Yeah. So I am personally a fan of the record. I like it. I like it because it feels fresh. It feels like it's something that's like newer than what we've been hearing like in the genre. And not only that, but like a big pop star is, taking an interest in it. Not only that, it's produced by, by Travis Barker, and he's incredible. You know what I mean? So for me, all like the Machine Gun Kelly album is more of Travis Barker's album, in my opinion. And he's just the guy who got to sing it. Am I happy it's MGK? I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really a huge MGK fan beforehand. And like the whole Eminem thing, that's a whole nother, like rabbit hole. But I'm pumped that he's doing it. And like, if like, it'd be interesting to see where it goes. Didn't it win like a VMA or something? Like it won something like some award. Bloody Valentine won something. So it's like people are, I think, paying attention to it. But I also think it's kind of like that. It's kind of like slowly converging into that like emo rap kind of pop punk stuff, which like I feel like if you listen to any of it, I mean, obviously, I don't know if I'm necessarily a target demographic for that type of music, but to me, it just sounds like a trap beat with like a Blink-182 lead on top of it. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, hopefully it'll like rise everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. So just for some gear people, what kind of gear do you use when you're playing live shows?
So I just got a Fender P bass, Mexican P bass with we took out the pickups, we put quarter pounders in them. So that's my like regular rig or my guitar, and then I run it through. I don't really run any pedals through it except for a Sans amp. So I have that, and then like a tuning pedal and shit. And then I use the Orange Tiny Terror, I think. Um, I'm not particularly a big gear guy, if you can't tell.
It's so good.
Like, yeah, but like, I believe that's what it is. And then I have an Ampeg 810 cab that I play. So, and that rips. And then I think when we start playing live again, I had a Squire P bass that it honestly rocked. I was just like, I'm just ready for a new bass. I think we're going to be bringing that on the road now as like a backup bass, and I'm going to be tuning that in like C, I think, to do like some of the songs. And that one too has quarter pounders, and I couldn't believe the difference just between like when you switch back and forth between the Squire and then the Fender. Like the tone is pretty cool, but like the volume's just not there. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe that when I was like playing around with that.
Like the volume on your Squire?
Yeah, it's like lower than the Fender, and I thought that was interesting that the Fender's just louder.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I haven't used the quarter pounders, but I mean anything with the Sans Amp too, like just
Yeah,
sounds crazy.
yeah, like the Sans Amp. I mean, that was the icing on the cake. Like once we put that in there, because you can kind of tune that to just get that buzz that you need, like that buzzy jingle, kind of Blink 182 like sound. Like my favorite bass line, just from like, you know, and it's not like a hard one. It's just the way it sounds. Is the opener to Online Songs by Blink. It's just like, dear Josie, you're my, you know, that that bass line, that sound. Like I just want to take that and like put that on my rig. Maybe give it a little more like rasp or something like that, or you know. But yeah, no, I'm really loving how it sounds. I can't wait till we can start playing live shows again, so I can show it off, because you know I'm not even turning that thing up that loud. It's just like,
Yeah, man, Sans Amp, and I mean with an 810 too, and an orange, like I'm sure that thing sounds massive.
I don't miss lugging the 810 around though. That thing is a friggin' coffin. You know, actually, it's heavier than that. It's
Oh man, especially like venues with upstairs or downstairs. No way.
or twisty
Oh,
stairs. Like we've had a few twisty stairs.
that's even worse. I
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't play like too much, and I have like 7 people in my band, I just downgraded to a Fender Rumble. So
Okay.
yeah.
Actually, I think that's what I have here as my practice amp. That was my first amp for the band. I think I bought it from Mark, because I didn't have anything going. I just literally I went to the store and I saw the Squire on the wall. I was like, that 150, let's go.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, that just goes to show that like you can make music with whatever kind of equipment. It doesn't need to be like the most high end
hmm
like instrument. Um,
hmm
all right, man. Where can people follow you or Goalkeeper on social media?
Definitely check out Goalkeeper on all your social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Twitter's a ride. I think we initially talked on Twitter. Cody's the one that manages the Twitter, and he is just absolutely hilarious. And then we're on Spotify, Apple Music. Check us out there. You know, our new EP, Life in Slow Motion, is out now. Yeah, and then tweet us or comment or message us and tell us how much you like it.
Yeah, get the new merch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Buy some merch. That'd be dope.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. Anytime you want to come to Texas, let me know. I can feed y'all. We have a
Oh,
Mexican
nice.
restaurant over here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
man.
We definitely will take you up on that offer, because I can't wait to get out to Texas.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it. You have a great day, and thank you again for joining.
No problem, man. Thank
All
you.
right, later.
See you. Oh, oh whoa.
Hey.
I was doing it before. Hold on. Let me change my background.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see.